Do you know Trump had a press conference? He actually had one like, what was it, 5, 6 days ago? It was pretty recent. I watched it and it was miserable, low energy. Apparently he just had another one, which is even more miserable and even more low energy. You know, it's actually getting worse. I mean, it's getting bad enough. I'm seeing, you know, articles on CNN or whatever where people are like, why is Trump sabotaging his own campaign? It's bad. Anyway, I don't want to watch the entire thing because the last one, I'm going to be honest with you, the last one was pretty rough without the classic Trump pizzazz. And Aaron Rupar will be helping us out, which is good because I'm not a fan of Aaron Rupar in general. I'm not a fan of his liberal leanings, but he does like to clip the funny bits. Staffers claim Trump is in meltdown after shooting. Yeah. Oh, this is from yesterday. Former Trump aides claim Donald is in meltdown and feels the election is slipping from him, so is lighting up the campaign. Okay. Okay. The former president's reported meltdown comes from two staffers who worked in the White House under the former president and have since turned on him as polls show the race with Kamala Harris is getting tighter by the day. I don't think this is true. I think that if we go by the polling right now, it's not getting tighter. It's getting looser. You know? Sorry, I could feel I had to pull my brain away from making the obvious joke. You know, I think that Kamala Harris is pulling ahead. I don't think that like Kamala Harris is catching up to Trump. I think that Kamala Harris has gotten ahead of Trump. You know? Kind of the opposite, really. He's spiraling. Republicans and top donors are worried about Trump's flailing strategies. He continues to launch vicious personal attacks on Harris and obsess over her personality instead of core policy issues like the border, the economy, and crime. Anthony Scaramucci, who claims he maintains close ties with the ex-president's inner circle, revealed Trump isn't barnstorming across swing states because he's pissed. Okay. All right. He picked Vance. Vance, a terrible pick. You love to see stuff like this in the Daily Mail, too, because you know that only the highest IQ individuals get their news from the Daily Mail. Like, better here than in Reuters is what I'm saying, right? Oh, you're telling me you can only access this from New York Times? Like, you need a subscription to the New York Times? Come on. 1 minute ago, Trump Wait, what? 1 minute ago, from the Washington Post, Trump hires new aides but defends his personal attacks on Harris. Is this from the press conference that we're about to see? Wait, where does it say he fired the campaign manager? Trump's new hires includes his controversial 2016 campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, who Trump fired in 2016 after he was accused of assaulting a reporter. A donor later alleged that Lewandowski groped her. An attorney representing Lewandowski at the time said he would not dignify accusations and rumors with a response. Careful with that, Benjamin. Trump has been annoyed for weeks the direction of his campaign. Harris is outperforming Biden. Okay, so he hasn't replaced his current campaign manager, but he's hired the old one as well? That's pretty rough, dude. Lewandowski was not... You guys have to understand, Trump did not run a good game in 2016. He ran a better one in 2020, like by a lot. In 2016, that was Hillary Clinton's race to lose, and then she did. You know, that was on her. Donald Trump did not do especially well. Corey Lewandowski also had an affair with Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota. Oh, well, you know, we get around. Oh, okay, yeah, I did see this one. Trump watches himself get shot over and over, and campaign staff fear he has PTSD report. Donald Trump has watched a video clip of the attempt in his life at a Pennsylvania rally, quote, over and over again, end quote, leading to fears that he may be suffering from PTSD, according to a report. Quote, he's been watching that 7-second clip of how close he was to getting shot right in the head over and over and over again. The Republican close to the campaign told Vanity Fair. He may actually legit have PTSD. He might genuinely drop out. Man, I wouldn't have believed it possible, but genuinely, he's like cooked. Well, okay, hold on. We're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. Let's look at some key excerpts from the press conference that happened earlier today, which again, okay, actually, let me see. I'll see. They're telling me this is my job. The voices in my head are telling me that this is how I pay my rent. 1 second. Why is he doing even doing press conferences on its own is crazy. You guys know that, right? He should be holding rallies, campaigning. Like a press conference. Why are you talking to the press? It's a weird thing to be doing. Look at this. This is your press conference? Trump loves rallies. At least he did. He almost got killed at a rally. Yeah, so he should keep doing them. They brought milk. What the? Remember that JD Vance clip where he was like, look, behind the scenes at the campaign event, look at what they've got going on back here. They've got whole muffins. That's me, though. If I was at a campaign event and I spent like $600 on the plane ticket to get out there, and I was there and I was like tired and really stressed, and they were like, hey man, don't worry, we got you. There was a full 500 calorie moist banana nut muffin right there waiting for you. That'd be it. You know? Right? It's like, okay, you've got me. You've reeled me back in. I'm back at 100. You son of a bitch. Look at this, man. 500 calorie muffins. The good muffins are at least 500 calories. There was a particular brand that they sold at my university cafeteria. I don't know the brand. You can get them at grocery stores. They're not super rare. It's not anything crazy fancy or whatever. But a good muffin should be like a giant brick of incredibly dense, moist carbohydrate calories, you know? Yeah, one stick. Yeah. And the fat, one stick of butter per muffin. 100%. Yeah. You want to feel that in your chest afterwards. Okay, so how long is the press conference? Okay, so it begins here at 30 minutes. It goes on for an hour 10, hour 20, maybe? Hour 20. We feeling that, or we feeling the clips? What do you think? What do you think, guys? What do you think? Maybe we watch a bit of it to get the vibes. Okay, how about that? We compromise. We watch a bit of it, like 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes, to get the vibe. And then we peruse the clips so that we don't miss anything good, you know? Because if we watch this entire thing on its own, that's a lot of dead air, you know? It's actually really boring. Well, that's why we're trying to, yeah, I think that's the best of both worlds. Yeah, we dip our little toesies into the pool.
Some very specific things. So we'll take our time. We have plenty of time. I think you have plenty of time. I hope you like the weather. It's very nice. Nice place. Nice location.
Please remember that this is happening. Okay, again, doing this press conference when, like, right next to him, there's, like, oh, God, that's, like, the bad coffee. That's the whole, look at that. Look, he's got, like, the bacon out. Okay, what, I don't know. Whatever they're doing. Okay. Remember that, like, at this moment, as he is doing this weird press conference, he is being lambasted in the media for not campaigning, for faltering, for sabotaging his own campaign. His own staffers are going to reporters and talking on condition of anonymity about his alleged PTSD. The polling is favoring him less and less every day. In this context now, he emerges.
And I do thank you for being here. And we don't have very much heat, so I'd say it's perfect weather for this. The rain is not imminent, based on the fact that there are no clouds. So it's really nice. It's really nice. And
I'm already glad we watched the full thing.
Let's go over some big facts and some
I'm already glad.
Very substantial truths about where we stand as a country, because we're a failing nation because of the way it's been run for the last 3.5 years. We're a failing nation. People are coming into our country by the millions and millions and millions. We have no idea who they are, where they come from. But we're also a failing economy. Kamala Harris is a radical California liberal.
Jesus Christ. No segue, no energy between those. It's like he's the bored, he's like the student in the group project who really shouldn't be presenting, reading out their bit to the class.
who broke the economy, broke the border, and broke the world, frankly. Very destructive to the entire world, because as we go, oftentimes the world goes. She destroys everything she touches, and if she wins, your finances and your country will never recover. You're never going to recover. A radical left person wants to put price controls all over the place.
This is actually the reason why I really wanted to watch part of the full thing rather than just the clips, because one of the big accusations against Trump right now is the just incredible lack of energy, and you're not going to get that only looking at the highlight reel. Like in this case, actually, you kind of want to see, I mean, geez, man. It's in his head, replaying over and over, is that 7-second clip of the bullet whizzing by his head.
Which will end up driving up your prices, not down your prices. Harris has just declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority for her. It's going to be
a day one priority. Little stuff like this, man.
That tackling inflation will be a day one priority for her. It's going to be day one. But day one, really, for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Where has she been? And why hasn't she done it? Why hasn't she done it? I hear her complaining all the time. She was the border czar, but she didn't do anything. It's the worst border czar in history. There's never been a border czar so bad. She's been unbelievable in terms of her badness to some of our allies, some of our great allies. You know who I'm talking about. Here is the record of economic calamity that Kamala is desperate for voters to ignore. She cast the tie-breaking votes that caused record inflation. She cast the votes. She's trying to blame Biden, as you know. So it was Biden, but I'm going to do a better job. But it was her.
This is so... It's so lifeless that it almost sounds like AI. Like you gave it to a text-to-speech that doesn't know how you're supposed to enunciate or, you know, lean into any phrase or word or punctuate anything or add a dramatic pause or whatever.
And if she wants to do a better job, she's still got 5 months left, right? But she can't do a better job because she doesn't know how to. And she's of a place in life where she wouldn't know what a better job is. Going to destroy our country. And as a result of Kamala's inflation price hikes, they've cost a typical household a total of $28,000. These are numbers coming from government. They're not coming from me. $28,000 she's cost a typical household. Kamala's inflation nightmare continues to cost the average American family $1,100 every single month. $1,100. Again, government numbers. You're paying $148.
I think it's really telling, pardon me for the obvious, I guess, dig, but I think it's really telling to how much of a cult Republicans are in that I don't see them despairing over his behavior. It's legitimately a sign of, like, democratic initiative that a ton of people who were to vote for Biden saw his behavior during and after the debate and before the debate, frankly, and were like, yeah, wow, no, that we can't do this. And then, you know, they pushed for it. I don't see any Republicans watching this going, hey, I have some doubts about the, you know, viability of this obviously ill man, you know? It's just, it's a cult. Oh, by the way, you want some good news? Again, polling is devilish, blah, blah, blah. You know, you've heard it from me before. The last time we caught up on the polls were the New York Times. Here, let's skip that. Let's go to recent. Okay, hold on. The polls. Yeah, you got a north one, you got a south one. Oh, and you've got two right here. Harris up 6 points. General election, whole country. 6 points Harris to Trump. 6 points if you include Kennedy, Stein, West, and Oliver. Now, again, any individual poll is devilish, and they're also devilish as a group. You know, you don't look at 10 devils and go, I trust that. But you can see patterns here. Trump up 8 in Florida, according to ActiVote. Right, okay, sure. Over here in Wisconsin, minor leads for Harris from Tip Insights, Emerson College over here. Harris +5 in the general. Both from ActiVote and Emerson College, with and without third-party candidates factored in. Wowza. It's pretty good. Sadly, guys, it looks like Montana might be going to Trump. I know we were all holding our breath for that one. Really, though, yeah, it's so that's Poll Sante August 14th and down to, yeah, another general election one from, you got The Economist, Harris +2. Like I said, it's not a tightening race, okay? I genuinely, like, Harris is pulling ahead and pulling ahead, you know. Oh, you, right.
There's more a month on
Why
food.
is Montana going red? Serious question. Because 5 people live in that state, and none of them have seen a black person.
Food. It's every month. Average family, because Kamala and her ideas, and Joe Biden too, I mentioned him, but he's sort of gonzo. It all started with the debate. I should have been a little bit easy. Somebody said your debate performance was horrible. I said, why? Because you forced him out of government. But I believe she'll be just as bad. I believe she's maybe in many ways going to be worse, because he wasn't really a radical left, but she is. She's
He really
real.
does miss Biden.
He wasn't
yeah.
real. So I think
His
she's
hair
going
also
to be
looks terrible.
in many
It really
ways
does,
easier
yeah.
to beat than Joe Biden. What they did to him was disgraceful, by the way, and it really is a threat to democracy. It was a coup by people that wanted him out, and they didn't do not the way they're supposed to do it. $129 more on energy and $241 more. This is all per month on rent. So you have that, 148, 129, 241, and then many other increases. You add it all up, it's thousands and thousands of dollars that she and he have cost people. The cost of a typical monthly mortgage has doubled since I left office, and that number was about 3 months old from government, and now it's tripled. We had mortgage rates at around 2%, close to 2%, and they're now at 10%, and you can't get a mortgage. So that means it's a lot higher than 10%. I guess it is, whenever they want to give over the money, and that's a lot more than 10%.
What?
So when you think about double, they've actually quadrupled or more than that.
What?
Think of that, quadrupled, which really kills the American dream for young people. Young people are being devastated by what they've done to our country.
That is true. What are we at now? Last updated yesterday. Have there been any changes to the 270 to win? Georgia was briefly light pink, but that was a previous change. No change yet. No change yet. We'll get there, folks. Okay, we're waiting on the Wisconsin or Michigan light blue. You know, that's what we're waiting on. If we ever get a light blue Georgia, or God willing, a light pink Texas, a gray North Carolina, Michigan is 100% going blue. Yeah, and I want to see it.
Grocery prices have skyrocketed. Cereals are up 26%. Bread is up 24%. Butter is up 37%.
Butter.
Baby formula is up 30%. Flour is up 38%.
You know, my goal was to go 10 minutes with this, but I'm not going to lie. He's actually so Rizless that I'm getting kind of... I'm honk-shoeing a little bit over here. The future's now, old man. We don't watch full press conferences. We watch the clips. All right? What do we got? Hit me with it.
Kamala Harris is a radical California liberal who broke the economy, broke the border, and broke the world, frankly.
Okay, gotcha. That's great. Can we get all these with the audio up? There we go. That's better.
She's been unbelievable in terms of her badness to some of our allies, some of our great allies. You know who I'm talking about? Here is the record of economic calamity that Kamala is desperate for voters to ignore.
Unbelievable badness. Okay, we heard that when we heard those ones. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah. This was a funny bit right here where can I let me see if I can find that clip. I don't know why he's not including the clip. DJT was talking about how the stock market is going to collapse any microsecond now, and they got rid of the Chiron showing that stocks were up. It could have just been a coincidence. It was just a funny clip. I can't find it. Doesn't matter.
Virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. You know that? Most of the job creation has gone to migrants. In fact, I've heard that substantially more than beyond the number of 100%. It's a much higher number than that. But
I believe this.
The government hasn't caught up with that yet. But virtually right now, as of the time they did this, virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants. Harris gave work.
Yeah, people will really call themselves Gurren Lagann fans or My Hero Academia fans, and then get angry when Donald Trump suggests that a plus ultra number of jobs have gone to migrants. You can't go above 100% person who watches shonen anime. Get over yourselves.
Permits and Social Security numbers to more than 3 million illegal immigrants to steal jobs from Americans. So think of
I'm sorry.
like a 1929 crash if she gets in. You saw a gentleman yesterday who got up, one of the top analysts in the world, frankly, and said that if Trump isn't elected, he predicts, and he's predicting you have a stock market crash like 1929. He also said the only time and the only reason the stock market has gone up, even though it had some bad moments recently.
Good tech.
But I think we'll take a substantial lead. You saw the polls come out today. We're leading in most of the polls, but you'll have I have a lot of friends over there. So.
Wait, there were people here? Everyone's been dead silent this entire time? I thought he was only speaking to the press. You're telling me there's been a crowd of people present this entire time and they've been dead silent? Jesus, they should have stayed quiet. Oh, man.
It was the policies. They had a recent article, and I didn't know this, but you're allowed to rob a store as long as it's not more than $950. Has everyone ever heard of that? You can rob a store, and you have these thieves going into stores with calculators calculating how much it is. Because if it's less than $950, they can rob it and not get charged. That was her.
That's true.
That did that. Harris, it was the policies.
That's not true. Really? No. Here, I already got it up. Defining shoplifting under California Penal Code 459.5a. Commercial establishment, regular business hours, intent, and worth $950 or less. That's it. Shoplifting is $950 or less. Robbery is more than $950. That's it. It's literally like it's just the difference between shoplifting and robbery. Totally normal. Like that's pretty common actually. As long as there's no weapon. Yeah. No weapon, of course. Yeah. You don't want that. Is shoplifting a misdemeanor? Yeah. In California, I should hope shoplifting is a misdemeanor everywhere. You steal like a protein bar and you get a felony for that. I mean, that seems a little bit excessive. Yeah, penalties for shoplifting, a term of up to 3 years in state prison, or a fine of up to $10,000, or both a fine and imprisonment. However, if you're convicted of shoplifting, the misdemeanor penalty may be up to 6 months, up to $1,000, both a fine and imprisonment. You can be charged with a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on whether you have a prior violent offense or sex offense conviction of your record. Shoplifting is a, quote, wobbler crime in California. What did I say about my knowledge of law? It says shoplifting is a felony there at the top of the section. Well, it depends on the subtype, right? Top of the section. Is that not a misdemeanor? If you're convicted of a misdemeanor act of shoplifting, the penalty may be 6 months or $1,000. But if you're convicted of a felony, the penalty for first... Yeah, this is the difference between the felony and misdemeanor level of shoplifting. And if you meet these, that's okay. That meets the definition of shoplifting. Then what distinguishes between the felony and the misdemeanor amount? Yeah, what's misdemeanor versus felony? Why am I looking at this? Being armed, I think. Oh, well, yeah, probably don't do that. Okay, well, anyway.
They had a recent article, and I didn't know this, but you're allowed to rob a store as long as it's not more than $950. Has everyone ever heard of that? You can rob a store, and you have these thieves going into stores with calculators calculating how much it is. Because if it's less than $950, they can rob it and not get charged. That was her that did that. Harris, it was the policies.
Man, isn't it crazy how 100 million Americans live in an alternate reality?
That create electricity. And by the way, I'm a big fan of electricity. If we're going to go with the AI, if we're going to do that, I don't know if you know, but we need twice the amount of electricity currently supplied for everything.
He's been repeating this a lot lately. It's like the only actual influence the existence of AI is having on American policy is that pro-fossil fuel people are using it as a reason for why we need to frack more or whatever. We're 20 minutes into Trump's rant and he's yet to take a single question. He basically tricked CNN and Fox News into giving him free airtime. CNN cut away from Trump's press conference at the top of the hour before Trump took a single question. Wait, when did he start taking questions at this press conference?
And eggs are up back. Sometimes you have to put them in jail because their country doesn't want them back. They'll send them in most cases. For her to say KKK is very unfair, but she doesn't know. She doesn't want to know. She's a very strong communist lean. She wants to end detention of illegal alien migrants, releasing vicious monsters into our community, all big ones. He's the biggest. This is the biggest. He said, for 50 years I've been buying, and every single year they got better, more efficient. We don't want, and I mean, and I'm sure that, like, the killing has to stop. Am I right? 5 very brave people are coming in. Very few use me. I think that all because living in Pennsylvania.
When does he start taking questions?
I used from that.
Tim Walz is out on the
Okay, we found one. 1 hour, 19 minutes, 47 seconds in. Oh my God.
$750 million and more. We're not giving you any. You are delinquent. You are delinquent in what you've done. And you're not getting, sir, please, can we talk? I said, yeah, we can talk. What? We would absolutely love to have MS-13 sent back to our country. We think they're wonderful people. They're not.
That's true. Okay. So it wasn't even a press conference then. He just invited a bunch of reporters to watch him talk for a bit?
Every week, we're going to do that. Oh, as soon as we get to it. In the meantime, they're building a coal plant every week. But now I hear it's 2 coal plants a week. And we're dying for energy. We don't have energy. And they're getting set for the AI because they're going to create so much electricity. And we're not going to be able to do it. But you'll do it if I have it, because that's an emergency. We have to be able to compete with China and other countries that are able to create new energy if they want to, and they're going to want to, and they do want to.
What do I say about this? How do I...
Plants, great sources of energy, instead of playing this game with wind that is ruining everything, killing all your birds, destroying the fields, all these gorgeous fields. You got windmills all over the place, and you have birds. You want to see a bird cemetery? Just go under a windmill. You see thousands of birds dead. The bald eagle, if you kill an eagle, they put you in jail for years. And yet these windmills knock them out like nothing. And nothing happens to the people. No.
What do I add to this?
If you buy from Iran, you can't do business in the United States. And I'm not looking to be bad to Iran. We're going to be friendly, I hope, with Iran. Maybe, but maybe not. But we're going to be friendly. I hope we're going to be friendly. But they can't have a nuclear weapon. They can't have a nuclear weapon. And we were all set to make sure that they... You send me a picture of my home. I said, you'll have to figure that one out later. But I said, we're going to have to hit you people so hard like we've never hit anybody. And he understood. And he said, yes, Your Excellency, I understand. He called me Your Excellency. I wonder if he calls that to Biden. I doubt it, right?
This seems somewhat pertinent. Him complaining about Kamala Harris.
Many of your
we're finally answering questions.
allies who want you to win in November say your current strategy isn't working, that you need to stop with the personal attacks on Kamala Harris and deliver a more disciplined message. Do you agree? And also, You added more people to your campaign today.
Yeah.
Is that a sign of a shifting strategy?
No, I think it's a sign of we want to close it out. We have great people. Susie is fantastic, as you know, and Chris is fantastic. They're leading it. Corey Lewandowski's coming in. He'll be, personal envoy, or he'll be at some level. They're going to be, they're doing a great job. Look, we've taken, with all of the abuse we've taken from the fake news media, all of this horrific abuse we take, and all I want to do is make the country good. All I want to do is have strong borders and good education. We want to have choice for education. So important, so many different things. You would think it would be the other way. We rebuilt the military. We did so many great things. But that's the way it's been for Republicans, and I guess more so for me than anybody in history, and that's okay. Because we're leading in the polls. For the most part, we're leading in the polls. We were leading Biden by a lot. We're leading now, but I think when she's exposed, I think we're going to beat her by a lot more than we would have beaten Biden by, because he had a little group of people that have been voting for him for a long time. She doesn't have that. People don't know who she is. As far as the personal attacks, her, because of what she's done.
Whoa. Okay. For him to cut there on the tech, and then for it to open with on the personal attacks, we'll never know what he said. We'll never know. We'll never know. Fox News hitting the giant red button, smashing the glass and hitting the button if Trump says the N-word on live TV. And it causes tech issues that prevent with a few second buffer that they have. There's two guys at Fox with turning keys at the same time next to a big machine. Steam like blasting out of vents as it like rises up a big plinth with a red button on it.
To the country. I'm very angry at her that she'd weaponized the justice. She had a little group of people that have been voting for him for a long time. She doesn't have that. People don't know who she is. As far as the personal attacks, her because of what she's done to the country. I'm very angry at her that she'd weaponized the justice system against me and other people. Very angry at her. I think I'm entitled to personal attacks. I don't have a lot of respect for her. I don't have a lot of respect for her intelligence. And I think she'll be a terrible president. And I think it's very important that we win. And whether the personal attacks are good, bad, I mean, she certainly attacks me personally. She actually called me weird. He's weird. It was just a soundbite. And she called J.D. and I weird. He's not weird. He was a great student at Yale. He went to Ohio State, graduated in 2 years.
The weird thing is really getting under their skin. I like how unable they are to defend themselves against it. Like, Donald Trump is like, yeah, J.D. Vance isn't weird. He was a top law student. Oh, yeah, never been any one of those who were freaks. That's so true, man. Wow, that's genius.
Please.
Two quick questions here. Nikki Haley told our Brett Baer that Republicans need to stop whining about Kamala Harris, focus on courting those independents, those suburban women, the moderates out there. What do you think of that strategy, and would you consider having Nikki Haley on the campaign trail with you?
Sure. I think that we've done very well. I think that we're hitting a nerve. I think this is a different kind of a race. All we have to do is define our opponent as being a communist or a socialist or somebody that's going to...
Wow. That's unusually candid. That's campaign strategy meeting talk. You're supposed to say, all we have to do is point out that they're a socialist or a communist. Not, you know...
I think that we've done very well. I think that we're hitting a nerve. I think this is a different kind of a race. All we have to do is define our opponent as being a communist or a socialist or somebody that...
Define our opponent as, yeah.
I fought Nikki very hard. I beat her in her own state by legendary numbers. And I get along with her fine. I appreciate that she endorsed me and all of that. No, I think that... I think relatively to what they're doing and how radical they are and how, in many ways, how sick they are, I think I'm doing a very calm campaign. I mean, we're here. There's no shouting. Now, you'll say he ranted and raved, and not you, but some of you will say he ranted and raved. I didn't rant and rave. I'm a very calm person, believe it or not. If I wasn't...
From some of the polling out there, I know you're saying that you're leading in some polling, but there is other polling out there. A Fox News poll out just yesterday has you up by just 1 point. How do you break away?
What about all the other polling where he's down between like 1 to 6 points?
Yeah, and Fox News has always been my worst poll, believe it or not. And even Fox News had me up by 1 or 2 points yesterday. Came out, I think, 2 points, 1 point. I also think, I tend to poll low. In some cases, really low. In 2016, I was polling low because people didn't want to say who they're voting for. I don't know if that's supposed to be a good thing or a bad thing, but
that actually was the case back in 2016. A lot of polling was unreliable back then because it was embarrassing to be back when Trump kind of took over the Republican Party in a coup. There were people who legitimately did not want to admit it. That is not the case anymore. That was 8 years ago. Not anymore, though. Is that? Oh, man. Okay.
You referenced your conversation with Elon Musk earlier this week. I want to ask you about that. You praise how he treats workers, saying they go on strike and you say that's okay, you're all gone, so every one of you is gone. Are you really comfortable with companies threatening to fire workers who go on strike?
Well, no, I want companies to get workers that are going to love them and work for a wage.
Yeah, Trump takes questions as Kamala hides. There are a bunch of Republicans who are like, why is Kamala Harris hiding? Why won't Kamala Harris do this press conference? And it's like, why would you be doing a press conference at all? You're supposed to be campaigning. Kamala Harris has the added job of being the vice president, which does have some responsibilities tied to it. Not many, admittedly, but some. Like, why would that be the thing she should do,
It lets the company make a profit so they can go and expand. In that case, they moved, as you know, the company from California, Elon, from California to Texas because they were able to get things that California wouldn't give. And I did.
Whatever Trump was supposed to do with the food containers, he never did it. Wow. So that's just like a Chekhov's gun that never got fired, huh? There is a gun resting on the mantle above the fireplace 432 pages later. Okay, I guess there was just a gun there. No, I'm sure it was meant to be an inflation bit, like this used to cost $1, now it's $5. But, yeah. Sponsorship? Yeah, he just got paid to showcase it. Cheerios. He made a TikTok with the food.
Look at this. This is the cost of food. This is the cost of your basics. Every single thing is up. Eggs up 48%. Cookies up 27%.
This is from 1 hour ago. Okay. He forgot to do it at the press conference, so they're like, sir, you should do it for this TikTok?
This is the cost of food. This is the cost of your basics. Every single thing is up. Eggs up 48%. Cookies up 20%.
From when? I assume from the start of Joe Biden's presidency.
27%. Look at what's going on. Butter up 31%. And this is just the beginning. It's a disaster.
Yeah, cookies are the basics. I think cookies are the basics. I'm willing to say, yeah, I'm willing to say it. I'm willing to say it.